All right, well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us this morning. I've missed a couple of Tuesday talks. Last week, Pat and I had gone up to Disney and had an absolutely wonderful time. We ate at some great restaurants. The weather was beautiful. It was spring break, and so perhaps not the wisest weekend to try to go to Disney, but it was great because the last time we had been in October, and the parks were open at 35% occupancy. I can tell you that the parks are not at 35% occupancy anymore. You could not move around, and they closed the Magic Kingdom one of the days we were there because they had exceeded the 135,000 people that they are allowing. So it was more than 100,000 people more than what it was back in October. So, just another encouraging sign that we're getting back to normal and that there is light at the end of this tunnel, and the new normal is not going to be having to isolate and keep by ourselves, and we can get our lives back. And so it was encouraging to see that. We had a great time. So first up this morning, we have a couple of guest presenters. I'm going to ask Sally White to come up with a presentation for us. Sally.
Every time, and I'm just supposed to mention some of the religious activities that we have available here. Is this coming out? Okay.
Hold it close. Close it to you.
On Sunday morning at 9:15, Father Bob Swick performs Mass in the South Grand Lobby. Then here in the Town Hall at 2:30, Reverend Jim Ray preaches a non-denominational sermon on Sunday afternoon at 2:30. And when I visited a couple of weeks ago, he was doing a series on the Lord's Supper. Then also we have our Navigators Bible Study, which meets in the Town Hall here every second and fourth Monday of the month at 2:30. And presently we're studying Psalms. We're almost through, but we're in Psalms. In the past we've studied the Gospel of John and Philippians. And someone asked me, where did we come up with the name Navigators? And I use a lot of Navigators Material, which is a non-denominational print company. And in 1933, a man named Dawson Trotman started mentoring some of the young sailors that were on the West Virginia. He was on the coast there, and he worked in the lumber yard, and he would come over and mentor and teach them. And their idea was they would learn to navigate through the Bible, because it's easier said than done. The Bible is very complex in a lot of ways. It's simple, but it's complex. So he mentored the young men there for quite a few years. In the West Virginia, actually, many of the men that he had taught, when war started, they were in Pearl Harbor in the West Virginia, sunk. So I don't know how many lives were lost. There's probably a lot of history there. And when COVID lets us back in fact, this was a question. When are we going to be able to go back into Sylvan, or whatever it's called now?
Yeah, so the Governor DeSantis has still not released nursing homes for in-person visits. However, he has released the AL. And so assisted living, if you have a loved one in assisted living, you are actually able to do a skin-on-skin visit in the resident apartment for assisted living. So that's a good sign, because that's the next level of care up. And so the fact that he has released it for assisted living is a pretty good forebearing of what he's going to do for skilled nursing.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say was that when we get back in, Lorraine Matthews and Rosemary Fox and I go to Sylvan a couple of times a month, and we have a time of singing with the residents that want to come, and in a Bible story. So, and however, if anybody is interested in leading the singing, I would be so glad to sign them up, because at present, I'm the song leader, and if I were singing, I would not too good. I'm enthusiastic, but if anybody would like to join us, we would love to have you. Also, at one point, Regency Oaks provided buses to go to churches. Will that start soon, or? Do we know? Yeah, I've got 2 questions in the middle of my...
Yes, and so we're going to give you an update this morning on the new programming and what it looks like, and buses are going to be reopened. So calendar update is Cindy Lawrence. Cindy, come on up.
I am here to try and get some card players on a lighter note. We in the north have 2 different people that are heading. First of all, we have the 7 o'clock Tuesday, and they are full. We do have a wonderful teacher, Eleanor Fenton, and if you are interested in taking lessons with Pinnacle, you can get in touch with her. I wanted to tell you, if you want the activity program, I didn't realize that there was one, actually. I've been here 3 years and didn't even know you could get one of these activity printouts. So I got this, and it's in the South Building. If you don't know, if you're new, I just wanted to let you know that you can get one of these activity, and there's a lot of things on there. I don't know if it's been updated or not.
It was updated this week.
This week, really? Oh, great. So those will be new then, yeah, great. Okay, I have...
Is that available at the trip table or is it at the front desk?
The front desk.
Okay.
That's where I got it. And I have a sign-up sheet if anybody would like to play bridge or pinochle. It's over there. And I also have one by the mailboxes in the north. I am mainly talking about the north. Today we have bridge at 1:30 on the 4th floor. And tomorrow there's pinochle at 1 o'clock. Now we have one table that is set up, so we need to get 4 more people for another table. Or if you want to learn, you can come and watch. So that's about it. If you have any questions, I can answer them. I know a lot of you are going to sign up, right?
Thank you very much, and we're ready now for the COVID update. The exciting news that I have to share with you is the COVID update is 3 slides. So we are slowly making our way out of the COVID situation. We'll step over to the board to get the COVID update in there, okay? All right, so here's the improvement. Just a couple of things that I thought were noteworthy. Joe Biden is set to announce this afternoon that effective April 19th, all U.S. adults, anyone over the age of 18, will be eligible for any of the 3 vaccines. And so progress is truly being made. The number of administered daily doses is up to over 3 million per day as of last week. And if you go back and think about where we were in January, where we were doing just a little under 1 million shots a week. So we've almost tripled the number of shots in arms in less than 2 months. Americans are dying from COVID at less than half the pace than just 30 short days ago. And so again, we continue to see the improvement and the progress. COVID is no longer the death sentence that it potentially was 8 months ago. The therapeutics are there, the improvement in acute care and early diagnostic and getting help to overcome the disease. All of that is improving. Hospitalization rates continue to decline. U.S. deaths in the week ending this Monday were 5,453, and that's down from the same week a month earlier where it was 12,263. So just tremendous improvement, and it's consistent. It's week over week over week, and so we're really beginning to make some headway here. The United States, instead of us, continues to report high levels of cases, 452,636 for the week ending Monday, and that's up about 20% over the previous 2-week reading. And they think that the majority of that is related to spring breaks across the country. And so kids were on a holiday and they were out being kids, and we're beginning to see that spike. And you'll pick that number up when you look at the Florida data as well as the United States data. But what you're not seeing is a corresponding increase in the rate of hospitalizations. Hospitalization rates in Pinellas County are running 7% right now. That's been pretty consistent for the last 4 or 5 days. It's higher than our 5% benchmark. It's considerably higher than the 3.5% that we were at just 3 weeks ago. It's more than doubled, but it's had very little impact in terms of hospitalizations and fatalities. One of the things that it has done is your staff, who was being tested on a monthly basis because of the positivity rate in the county, we are now having to be tested once a week. So as soon as it jumped over 5%, we had to change our testing schedule. I don't believe this is significant. I think it's the spike related to spring break. Anyone who tried to get out to Clearwater Beach a week or 2 weeks ago, you know what I'm talking about. So I think we'll ride this out. We'll continue to see a decline once these numbers, this little hiccup passes through. Next slide. This is really exciting news. I'm glad to be able to share this. LCS and our Omnicare partner, who is CVS Pharmacies, is scheduled to announce, and I think that announcement is coming out in a press release today, that the Life Peak communities, those owned by Peak and managed by LCS, will now have their own in-house supply of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So if we have family members or new residents that would benefit from being able to get a vaccine, we will be able to offer and administer those vaccines with our own clinical staff. So it no longer will have to be a clinic run by Omnicare. It will be an in-house availability. So this is, the next step in making sure that we are beginning to treat this not as a pandemic, but as a seasonal situation, just like we do the flu shot. So when you go to get your flu shot on an annual basis, you don't necessarily have to go to your physician or CVS or Walgreens. You can get it at one of the clinics we hold. The same situation here is we will be able to offer this vaccine on a regular basis to anyone who's interested in getting it. And last slide. That's it. One more second. This literally is going to take a second because I'm going to give you the numbers that we track here at Regency Oaks in terms of quarantines and testing and flu-like symptoms in progress. And across all product lines, in all categories, residents, staff, all buildings, there are 12 categories, and the numbers are 0 in all 12 of the categories. So great job, everybody. Thank you for wearing your mask, for practicing good social distancing, for checking in on a daily basis, for staying at home if you don't feel well, doing all those safe behaviors that have made this possible. And this is literally, I've sort of lost track, but I think this is week 13 where these numbers have been very similar. So great job, and take a bow. You did great. I wanted to spend a little time this morning going through the legislative update. And there are 4 or 5 specific bills that relate to senior housing that I want to provide an update and just sort of bring you up to speed on where we stand. Senate Bill 72 passed last week, and it had the distinction of being the first bill out of the legislature and the first bill to become law. It's already been signed by the governor in 2021. And Senate Bill 72 is the healthcare provider liability protection bill. And this is really significant for nursing home operators, including nursing homes run within a CCRC, because it provides us tort protection against people who contracted COVID and now look to seek through the court system litigation to money. They want money. And this is it's a great win-win bill. It had the support of FLICRA, of Leading Age, of OIR, because it does not erase the obligation for gross negligence. If the provider was grossly negligent in providing care or failing to take protective measures, they still have liability. But what it will do is stop the frivolous lawsuits. And it's just, you may have read in the papers that, first couple of the major lawsuits against providers hit, and the first 2 in Pinellas County. The first one was for $26 million, and the second one was for $35 million. And those were for individuals who had lost their life. But it doesn't take, you don't have to just do the math. And you would understand that a $30 million judgment against the CCRC would essentially put us in dire financial situation, and if you had a couple of them, it would put you out of business. And so this is a really good piece of legislation that has passed, and I'm excited to share that. There is another bill. It's Senate Bill 510, House Bill 13, and this is the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And it's amazing. The rest of the country should run as well as Florida does, but Florida has about $420 million in reserve funding for affordable housing. And what this Senate bill or House bill would do is prevent the legislature from sweeping those funds out of the reserve accounts and applying them to other needs within government. And so this money, it protects this money, and it makes sure that the lower income individuals, including seniors who rely on these funds for assisted living, these funds are protected, they're going to be reserved, and they are there for the future needs of seniors here in Florida. We support that legislation, and it looks like that probably is going to eventually become law. There is Medicare funding for nursing homes. You can imagine that this has been a very difficult year for skilled nursing. Our census for instance, at Sylvan, our census, which usually runs 60, fell all the way down to 32. So we lost about 50% of our occupancy at one point. The costs have gone through the roof in terms of setting up isolation wards and the PPE that is needed to provide safe care. And so the cost have gone up while the revenue has gone down, and we haven't made the kind of money that we typically have seen generated out of our skilled nursing. That is true for skilled nursing centers all across the state. And so there are two bills, House Bill 5201, which wants to reduce the Medicaid reimbursement by 2%. Now, you say, well, 2% isn't a lot of money, but it's almost $31 million when you look at the size of the budget. And then there is a competing bill, and that is Senate Bill 2518. And the Senate bill makes no restrictions, no reductions to the reimbursement rate that is scheduled for 2021. So obviously, as a provider, we support the Senate bill on this. And again, FLICRA, Leading Age, OIR, we're in lockstep, and we are lobbying to make sure that the Senate bill, not the House bill, becomes the new law. There is another one out there, and I guess I have mixed feelings. You know that there is a minimum wage increase that was passed back in the fall of this year, and it's going to raise minimum wage in the state of Florida to $15 an hour, and it's incremental. This year it goes up to $11, the next year it goes up to $12, and so on until we get up to $15 an hour. And as a result of that, anyone who has been in a Speedway, a Walgreens, a Walmart, you've noticed that there are many more self-checkout opportunities. And so, like, I was in Walmart, in our Walmart, there are 8 little self-checkout registers, and there's one staff member who's sort of there to assist and keep the flow going. Well, the reason for that is they're getting rid of minimum wage associates. Companies have decided they're not going to pay them, and it's more cost effective to bring in automation. And so you're seeing that no matter where you are. You're seeing it at McDonald's. Have you been down to the McDonald's up the street? There's now a kiosk where you order because they were able to cut all their counter help. And so the same thing potentially could happen in long-term care. And so this is called the Workforce Shortage Personal Care Attendant Act. And this is it's held up right now. It's in committee. It hasn't even come to the floor. But essentially what they are trying to do is, in the primary caregiver in a skilled nursing center is what's called a certified nursing assistant. And you have to go through pretty extensive training in school and a practicum in order to become a CNA. And this legislation is going to allow what's called personal care attendants, and a personal care attendant is an 8-hour wonder. You take someone off the street who's never worked in senior housing before, you put them through 5 hours of classroom work and 3 hours of on-the-floor orientation, and they become experts who are now able to go out and care for residents and provide direct hands-on care. I'm not a big fan of that because I think it impacts the quality of care, but I also understand the situation. CNAs are very hard to come by. They're very expensive. With the change in the minimum wage, we already are seeing an average increase in wages for our CNAs. Most of our CNAs average, when you look at shift differential and sign-on bonuses and coverage incentives, most of our CNAs are making $13, $14 an hour, where 2 years ago they were making $9. So we know that this is going to have a cost impact for us, but there's a lot of debate going forward. What I propose, or what I support, is using personal care attendants, but not having them in direct care. They should be used to pour water at bedside, to transport residents to the dining room and activities, but they shouldn't be providing direct hands-on bed and body care in the skilled nursing center. So this is not out of committee, so we don't know what that legislation is essentially going to look like, but wanted to keep you apprised of that. There is a companion bill that goes along with this, and it's House Bill 1151, and it creates a medication technician. Now, this is only applicable to assisted living, but it's an unlicensed staff member who goes through 6 hours of training. So anyone off the street, you come through for 6 hours of training, and then we're going to allow you to pass medications to residents in assisted living. Leading Age, FLICRA, OIR is solidly opposed to that idea. We think that is a terrible, terrible idea. So I'll keep you updated as we go through the legislative session. There's some good coming out of this. We may get to a point where we need some letter writing campaigns. You heard Steve Ballmer when he was here a couple of weeks ago talk about how impactful it is with legislatures to receive memos from their constituents. So we may call upon you to do some letter writing as we go forward. A couple of more things I wanted to talk about. The North Building Wi-Fi. We have pretty much completed our efforts there. We've identified 5 apartments where we don't have good signal strength. We're working to correct those in the South Building. So I'm specifically talking to our South Building residents now. Last Monday, I wasn't here to share this with you, but last Monday, we turned on the Wi-Fi in the South Building. So I'm going to ask the South Building residents to do the same thing we asked of our North Building residents just a month ago. It's now active, it's now on, and what I'm asking you to do is help us determine if you get a signal strength. That's all we want you to do. Is we don't want to know whether it's wide, the broadband is fast enough, wide enough. We're just trying to test for signal strength. So if you go on your phone and go into settings, and right up at the very top, it has Wi-Fi connections, and you press on the Wi-Fi connections, it will give you a list of Wi-Fi connections, and you're looking for the one that says Regency Residence. And we're Regency Resident. And so we're asking I can give you the log on, but I don't even need you to go on. I just need you to look at the bars, and if you're not getting 4 to 5 bars, we're looking for 5 bars. If you're not getting that, we need you to call the front desk or call Lauren and give us your apartment number so that we can hone in on it and try to make those adjustments.
When was that turned on?
It was turned on last Monday.
Because I know Apartments Friday had none.
Yeah. So that's what we need to know, is who you are, so that we can come and make the individual adjustments.
Does that apply also to Kindles and tablets?
Yes.
Because I only, on Regency resident, I get 1 bar.
Yeah. So start checking. It's now live. And if you're not getting 5 bars, then we want you to call the front desk.
Is there a password to be used?
Yeah, you can go on and use it, and the password is capital W, welcome, capital WELCOME, 2, the number 2, Regency, capital R, Oaks, all caps, capital O, capital A, capital K, capital S. And so you're welcome to log in. It is we haven't turned up the capacity. So you're not going to get speed. You're not going to be able to scan something off Netflix, stream something off Netflix. But all we're looking for now is signal strength. But that is the password if you want to log on.
So, does it mean you can be on Regency in your apartment? Is that what you're looking for, in the apartment?
In your apartment. We've already tested your hallways and corridors. We got 5 bars in every corridor, in every location, in the common areas. Now we want to know if that signal is turned up strong enough to penetrate the concrete walls that protect your apartment. So we've turned it on, and we'll start looking for feedback. And then it's just a process of figuring out who's not getting the coverage, and we start to hone in on getting those corrected.
Am I on the north list?
Do you know if Linda's on the north list? Do you happen to remember?
No, off the top
I
of my
sent
head,
you
I
both
did not.
emails, but
Did you report it? Yes.
Yeah. You're on it.
Then you should be on the
Yeah,
list.
yeah, because that's where if you reported it, we got it. There's I know Fred's on it, I know the Heckmans are on it. Linda, I just don't remember if you're on it, sorry. I'll check when I get back.
Is the strength different between resident and guest?
Yes, yes, yes. And there are a whole bunch of other abandoned, there's Regency, which is the staff account. There's Regency Guest, which is an abandoned account. There is Regency North, which is an abandoned account. They're still active, but I'm not turning anything off until I get, because I do have people, we abandoned it, but I still have people using it. And so until I get, I'm 100% confident that I got the new system is going to do what I need it to do. We're not going to turn anything off. Once we get there, all the other backup systems will be turned off. All right. 2 last things. Building permits, and I having just got back, I have not been able to confirm this, but I saw the paperwork that the building permits were scheduled to be dropped yesterday with the county, and so we'll keep you updated and look for a report. Once those building permits are approved, the new construction is ready to go forward. They say the startup from receipt of the building permit to the first shovel in the ground is about 30 days. So we are at the point where we're getting close, and this is going to be sooner rather than later. Okay, so next up is Tiffany, who has a program update.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone? Good. I wanted to basically reintroduce programs to the community. During COVID, a lot of things changed. We had a lot of new residents, new faces, and with us getting back to our new normal, I just want to reestablish what activities look like at Regency Oaks. Last month, when we had our cocktail party, that was more of our normal cocktail party feel. We have, of course, in fact, moved to the town hall because that does allow us more space. But the setup with the buffet, that is our normal cocktail party. Also, today is going to be our first lunch bus trip. We always did our lunch bus trips 2 to 3 per month. We also go to the casino, that's Hard Rock in Tampa. So you can always sign up for those things at the trip table. As was presented this morning, we also have a bus that goes to church on Sunday. So those are things that we're going to be picking back up on. You can always sign up for these things at the trip table. The information will be provided on your Monday memo. We always ask that you sign up beforehand so the drivers know exactly how many people are on the bus. But if you ever see a restaurant that you are interested in, join us for lunch. We want to get back to some type of new normal. As of right now, we are exploring restaurants that have outside dining as well as inside to create that comfort level. So you do not have to eat on the inside. You can eat also on the outside. Today, we're actually going to Lucky Dill. So that was a restaurant choice that we had. Also, on The 28th, we will be going to Northwood Plaza. That's a new trip set up for us. Essentially, we will be there for 2 hours. That gives you the liberty to either shop, go to CVS, and have lunch. So that's 2 hours to be able to explore, get out, do whatever you need to do with the bus provided. We have everything already set up at our trip table. So we're just asking that if you, of course for our new residents, a lot of our newer residents, as soon as they got in, they were kind of dumped in their apartments. So we're just trying to create whatever that new normal looks like at our community and what that looks like for activities as well. So we're looking to get out, get that fresh air. The weather's only gonna be good for maybe 45 more days. So please get out, enjoy that fresh air with us, have lunch, all of those things that really make Regency Oaks, Regency Oaks. So please, if you ever have any questions about anything or suggestions, if you have lunch somewhere, actually last week I went out to lunch to Mr. and Mrs. Crab and I saw 2 residents. So that might be a suggestion for us to add on to the schedule as well. Yep, back there, yep. That might be a suggestion as well, but if you ever have lunch somewhere and you would like for us to explore, it can be Tampa as well. We've gone to Cooper's Hawk, so it doesn't have to be anywhere close. So please feel free to let myself or Ginger know. We're really looking to get into our new normal at Regency Oaks. We want to get back to our fun ways that we used to do, go back to our trips, all of those things that we used to do. So it does not have to be a restaurant. It could be a museum. It could be, we've been to a garden before, so anything. Please, we love all suggestions. We want to make our residents happy. Thank you. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Andrea.
When are we going to get our theater group back?
Yes, that's a good question. So I've had 2 questions about that. In the past, we had our theater group as well as our vocal cords. Unfortunately, our vocal cords teacher is not going to come back with us. She is very COVID conscious, so we are looking for a new instructor. I have not heard back from our instructor for the theater class as of right now. Our theater instructor was actually contracted from another company, and as of right now, their company is not allowing them to come on campus anywhere. So that's what it looks like with the new COVID. It depends on what their company says and things of that nature. We're hoping to have Jack Holloway back because we love him. So we do not want to explore anyone new. We're just going to kind of ride the wave with him. But we are looking for a new vocal cords instructor. Yes, ma'am.
Did I hear you say Tom Holloway?
Jack Holloway?
Jack Holloway?
Yes, ma'am. We're hoping to have him back, most definitely. He's contracted through another company, and as of right now, they have not gotten clearance to get back in. But hopefully, with the vaccine, us creating a new normal, he can come back with us.
What church are you going to on Sunday?
I'll have to get that list for you. Your apartment number?
It's in the triple.
N113.
N113. Any more questions? Thank you.
All right, so that's everything we have. We'll open it up for any questions. We've got floating microphones here.
What happens in 45 days?
The weather, it gets hot. It gets sticky and Florida-like.
Got one here.
Usually, once a year, we have a bus trip to Tampa Downs, the horse racing, and they'll be closing probably, I don't know, in May, I think. So could we have a bus trip?
We just heard about that,
close
so
down?
we're trying to work on the logistics.
Tiffany's trying to work on that logistically and get that taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
In the back here.
What's happening with the Pizza Hut?
Yeah, there's actually some good news on that. We've made a little progress through some intervention from a helpful resident. We got some movement, and thank you, Chet. And so the new resolution looks to be like they are backing off of the requirement to enclose the pizza oven, and Yeah, and they're going to let us get away with screening in and hard roofing the cooking prep area, which we're okay with. As you know, we've tried a couple of different screened roofs there that are just not very effective at stopping the rain. And so trying to match the copper roof on either end of the pool seems to be a good idea, and put a hard copper roof with some screening. We think that might look nice. It's reasonable. It's a good accommodation. So we think, we don't have anything in writing, but we've they've been out weekly to visit with us, and we've made some progress. So Chet, thank you for your help.
Yay.
One foot and gone.
2 questions. One, the birthday dinners. And the second one, line dance classes.
So, birthday dinners are okay to come back.
They
Where
are.
that's
And in the north, they are fully on board.
and in North, they're fully on board.
South doesn't have.
Yes,
any-
and from what I heard from Phil, he's just looking for a representative for the South. So they're fully ready to get back on board. And our I'm sorry, let me get a few months ago, our line dancing teacher, she actually had surgery on her knee, so she's recovering. So we're still just waiting for her to get fully back comfortable at the campus. It does not have anything to do with campus. She just had surgery on her knee. Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, one more update. Next week, Spanish will be moving from Monday to Wednesday in the arts and crafts room. Especially with us changing the town hall, things of that nature, we're really trying to move forward and adjusting our calendar so that once we do lose the town hall, we're fully prepared. So again, Spanish will be moving from Monday to Wednesdays in the arts and crafts room, and the time will stay the same.
Both Spanish classes.
Both Spanish class, beginning and conversation. That will be changed on channel 732, the Monday memo, and that's why I mentioned it today at Tuesday Talk.
Will we ever have bus trips to McCaffrey or to the theaters in Tampa and St. Pete?
No, but if you want to give me a list, let's get it started. This is a great resident right here.
All right. Anything else? Thank you very much. Have a great day. We'll see you at Forum this Friday. Forum this Friday. Oh, hold on. I'll take one more. Earl, I'm still on camera for you.
Hold on 1 second.
How about day trips, like to the Midling or to St. Armand's Key? There's many restaurants there. We used to do that before.
We can definitely pick that back up.
All right. Thank you.